I stopped going to church as a place of worship many years ago. And evangelists, Bible preachers, if I happen to hear one by accident today, I cringe in mental pain as I hear all the lies, emotional platitudes and exaggerated rhetoric. Did I just say lies? Here I am, a Christian person, and I'm calling other Christians liars. The reality is, yes, I am, because evangelism is based on 4 basic assumptions, of which only 1 is right and 3 are false. Here's the one which is right: that Jesus is the only way to be saved from your sins, from yourself, from the destruction which is to come on the earth, and from the lake of fire and eternal extinction at the end of all ends. And here are the 3 false assumptions. Number 1, that heaven is a place of reward for the righteous and the good, which then makes hell a place of punishment for the evil and sinful. Number 2, that there is a personal and supernatural being in opposition to God, called Satan. And number 3, that all humans have a part of their being which is immortal, called the soul. Next time you listen to one of these people, notice how everything they say is based on these assumptions. You will hear phrases such as, "We're all going to hell, but Jesus can save you," or "Are you waiting for the rapture, like I am?" or "You will be persecuted for what you believe, but you have a great reward in heaven." Or, "Don't listen to it, don't do it, the devil is tempting you." It's all based on false teaching. Firstly, heaven. For a start, the word heaven is mistranslated in virtually every verse in the King James Version, Old Testament Bible. The original Hebrew is shamayim, which means heavens. The very first verse of the Bible is one of these verses which isn't a very good start, to say the least. When Elijah was taken up to the heavens, this is wrong too. Of course, this isn't about whether a word is mistranslated or not, but it demonstrates how easy it is to get something wrong which is so basic and fundamental. Going to heaven, or going to the heavens, is a basic belief of virtually every Christian church in the world, but it's also basically wrong. If humans have any future at all, it will be here on earth. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride, beautifully dressed for her husband. Believing that heaven is a place of instant reward or eternal paradise is also harmful and pernicious. This is something which most people have never even thought about, but one of the main reasons that terrorists take their own lives and the lives of those around them is because of this false teaching. Then there's hell. First of all, hell isn't even a place, it's a state. We would never describe sleep or unconsciousness as a place, and that's basically what hell or death is. Believe me when I say this. I've studied this subject all my life, and the Bible is undecided about the state of the dead, and whatever hell is or isn't. So you should remain sceptical at all times when you see or hear this word in the Bible. These verses which you see on the screen are the only verses in the Bible which are consistent about the death state, which is basically what hell or Hades is. It's a state of unconsciousness, not a place where you're imprisoned for eternity. Satan is pretty well the easiest to debunk just on common sense alone. Firstly, the Hebrew God is supposed to be the only God there is in both Judaism and Christianity. If Satan exists as a personal devil or supernatural being, then that makes 2 gods, or if you don't like the description God, 2 deities. Theologically impossible. Secondly, when you've done something wrong, why, as a Christian person, do you ask God to forgive you? If Satan exists as a tempter of humans, then blame him, not yourself. None of which makes any sense, as it would mean that all the evil produced by all the evil humans in the world was, or is, at least 50% caused by Satan. Would you want to excuse these monsters of 50% of their evil? Because that's exactly what you do when you believe that there's a personal devil. The whole point of Christianity is the saving power of Jesus Christ, of which the ultimate proof was his death on a cross. What did Jesus die for? Your sins and my sins, or to defeat an evil supernatural enemy? What was his blood shed for, and what was it meant to cover? Your sins and my sins, or the evil deeds of some mythological fallen angel? And obviously connected with Satan are demons and evil spirits. So this means that next time you're poorly, you will have to go to the doctor and ask for a prescription for demons. I'm really not joking about this. Jesus healed many people in the short time he was here on earth, and virtually every time he did so, it was described as an exorcism of evil spirits. And finally, if you just cannot let go of this myth, then consider this. Satan is called by many names in the Bible, but the most bizarre of all is the association with snakes, dragons and leopards. This means that if you think there is a literal personal devil, then you are going to have to believe that snakes can literally speak, dragons exist and have 7 heads, and leopards also exist with 10 horns. These are all associated with the biblical Satan and are descriptions of one and the same thing. From the first chapter of Genesis to the last chapter of Revelation, the Bible uses metaphor and allegory to describe real events and prophesy about the future of the world. A dragon pursuing a woman who was given wings to escape is no more real than unicorns or fairies at the bottom of the garden. But the events they describe are very real. And finally, nobody is immortal or has an immortal soul. It is up to God what he does or doesn't do with each person when they die. If we have any future at all, it has never been and never will be our decision, nor anything to do with how we are made or not made. One more thing before I go. Having gone through billions of years of building a universe with millions of solar systems, millions of years of creation and evolution on Earth, thousands of years of human history, hundreds of years destroying everything evil at the end of the world, thousands upon thousands of people working to build and start a new world, and then finally sending death and Hades to the lake of fire. At the end of all this, God decides to keep everyone alive who was evil in the old world by torturing them forever. Does that make any sense?